The next process here is actually making the shaped tab that's going to come up the top of this pendant. Because it's narrower, we need to make sure that this thread is in the right place. Now at the moment we're coming out on the outer warp thread there. So to get back into the centre, we have to first wrap around this outside warp thread again. So bring your needle underneath and up between the first and the second warp threads. And we're going to wrap it round to hold it in place. Then we're going to pass through the beads up until the one before that last pink. So we're going to pass the needle through these beads, pull all the thread through. And the reason we wrapped it round is so when you pull this thread, it doesn't pull through all the beads. Now we're going to go down underneath. So in between the last bead and the previous bead, the two pink beads there, we have this warp thread. So we need to pass down before that warp thread, pass the needle down underneath and pull the thread through. And then that puts your weft thread in the right place, ready to pick up your next row of beads. So now that we have the thread in place, in the right place, ready to continue, we're going to be looking at adding the beads on this section of the pattern across here. Okay, and so we're not going to be coming all the way to the edge, so we're narrowed in from the left and the right. So I've picked up the right amount of beads here. And so we're going to place these underneath. Again, this first row is a little bit tricky. So as you can see, we don't want to come straight in from the edge, otherwise this warp thread here is going to be caught on all of these warps that are not going to be used. So we need to come up in between the warp threads at this point so that we're not going to catch all of those outer warp threads. So once you've got your warp thread, your weft thread up at the top, we're going to go back through the beads as you did previously. Okay. And as you pull that through, it closes in and it's your first row of beads. From now on, we're going to need to put the needle back down through the edges of those warp threads so that you're in the right position. So effectively these outer warp threads here and here, we're not using them now, we're just going up through the centre section, and that is going to go all the way up to the top.